because we will be re-cooking it later, or re-warming it into the sauce. Let that settle for a bit while we finish up this prep. I believe Bobby Flay's recipe uses tarragon too, but the store I went to didn't have good tarragon either, so I chose basil. And which I will be chiffonading later, which is a fancy word for shredding. So make sure all these good. Just cut across. Rough chop's fine. It's all gonna get pretty much obliterated once it hits the sauce. Turn cubes. I will be sauteing these, and on your recipe it just says to add them in the sauce, but we learned in culinary school if you saute tomatoes a little bit before you actually add any liquid to them, it'll bring out sweetness to them, so it'll add a little bit better flavor to it. So now we're going to take our shallots. Keep going until they're brown. What you really want to do is make sure you get all the flavor that the chicken put off in the pan inside of your dish. So it'll help come together nicely. So you want to get these a good brown. GBMD is golden brown means delicious in culinary school. Get that rolled. So, by the way, right now, do you guys have any questions about the food or dish, anything? I have a couple, 3 seconds.
Is it delicious?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's tomatoes and basil, which is always a nice combination. Just slightly Italian for a French dish, really.
Hi, Mom.
Cutting board a little bit here. The clean station is a happy station, according to every chef ever. So we're going to take some parsley right now, and this is just going to be garnished later, but really easy to do. Just get your knife and fine shreds out of it. My glove is not completely on, and I do not feel like losing a finger. Also, some people often confuse this for cilantro, which is a beautiful and sad thing at the same time. Because cilantro looks exactly like parsley, but tastes like dish soap sometimes. So, always be sure to read the label when you go to Rouse's. I bought cilantro the other day, and the chicken I was preparing did not come out quite like I anticipated. A quick stir. Everything's coming together nicely. You can smell it. So we're almost ready for that. In fact, I will add our tomatoes now. And saute them. A little bit and get our white wine and chicken stock ready. Again, I'm using a Chardonnay, but any white wine will do. And if you have cognac available, that's also useful too. Sauteing good. Well, this is pretty much the color you want at this stage. It's just nice and easy. Once I start hearing it pop again, I'm going to hit it with the stock and the wine, which is going to pretty much take any flavor out of the pan and put it into the dish. And then we'll reduce that to nappe, which I will demonstrate, which is a fancy word for the proper sauce consistency, which is of course French because everything cooking is French apparently. But I'm French, so it makes sense. wipe up this tomato juice. We're going to do our chiffonata basil right now, which is just a handful of basil leaves, and it's finely shredded. I'm going to take the stems and some parsley. And what you want to do is kind of roll it into a pile. And then once you have them rolled into a pile, like so, shred that. Very thin's good, because we're going to use this as a garnish, and then the heat from the dish is just going to kind of wilt it down and make a beautiful presentation. One more chiffonade. So this is pretty much the Italian influence coming into the dish, which is odd considering French people aren't really into Italian spices, but this is also a classic way to do it for some reason. And there we go. Fine chiffonade shreds. Now, this dish is ready to roll. We're going to give our Chardonnay and our chicken stock. This is going to come to nappe, which is basically, well, I'm going to take this metal spoon and I'm going to swirl it on the sauce, and I'm going to run my finger across it, and if it leaves a coating, then your sauce is ready to roll. So keep the heat up, let this roll. And just keep stirring so you don't have any burn spots on your pan. I mean, your shallots are pretty much absorbed into the liquid, and the tomatoes are still visible. Just add salt and pepper while I'm at it. You'll notice the bubbles are right there. That means it is reducing nicely, and we're going to reduce by about to 1/3 of the original sauce. Well, let's go, and we're going to get this cleaned up. Any other questions about the dish while we're here? Or have a moment?
I'm good.
Hungry?
Hungry, pretty much, yeah. So, is it almost ready?
At this point, it's going to take maybe, depending on how much fire you have under it, it could go anywhere from 5 to 3 minutes. It really, as soon as the sauce is reduced to its nappe consistency, it's pretty much ready to go. So we're just letting it come to temp. And if you're here, we can't smell it, but we can. You can smell the wine cooking out, and it's very grapey flavor, which is good enough. Before I do that, you have to do bare hands when you do this test, because the heat will melt the gloves into your food, and that's just terrible. So, wash your hands. And you can tell right now, sauce is not even thick enough, so we just gotta let the heat kind of reduce down and cook out all the impurities until it thickens up. Add our parsley now, just for some color. Color's looking real nice. Fire some more. Gotta speed this up a little bit. By the way, guys, the source for the recipe is foodnetwork.com by Bobby Flay, and the source for this one is just any carb-calorie-count.about.com. It's information basic. You can pretty much look it up online at any time. More than welcome to. In summary, though, this dish is basically